Here are three of the worst American pickup trucks of the 1930s, a time when the pickup truck was just beginning to define its place in American work and culture. I think you'll like it. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and let's get started. Dear viewers, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you for your support. Number 3, 1936 International C1 pickup. Why it was bad. A true bare-bones workhorse. Rough, awkward, and seriously primitive, even by 1930s standards. With a solid front axle and leaf springs, the ride was brutally stiff, especially on rough rural roads. It bounced, rattled, and shook like a wagon made of anvils. Came with a non-synchronized manual gearbox, meaning you had to double-clutch every shift or grind the gears into submission. New drivers? Good luck. Despite being a light-duty pickup, it was still slow, heavy, and underpowered. Early versions used a flathead six-cylinder engine that barely broke 80 horsepower, and that was optimistic. The interior was literally just a bench seat, a steering wheel, and some exposed metal. No insulation, no creature comforts, not even a headliner in many cases. It felt more like sitting in a garage with an engine attached than a driving experience. It was International Harvester's attempt to jump into the pickup market. But they were still thinking like tractor builders, not auto manufacturers. Competitors like Ford and Chevy were already making trucks with somewhat better handling and refinement, even in the 30s. Still, it had its place on the farm. Reliable and rugged, just not very civilized. The 1936 International C1 pickup was basically a farm implement with a cab. Brutally uncomfortable, mechanically awkward, and slow as molasses. It was a truck you endured, not enjoyed. A true relic of the just make it work era. Number 2, 1935 Ford Model 50 V8 pickup. The flathead V8 was revolutionary, but the truck it came in? Not quite ready for prime time under real working conditions. Flop factor, chronic overheating. That flathead V8 was powerful for its time, around 85 horsepower, but it ran hot, very hot. Cooling systems in 1935 weren't advanced, and the engine bay ventilation was poor, especially when hauling or climbing hills. Long drives under load. You'd be watching the temperature gauge more than the road. Unrefined ride. Leaf spring suspension front and rear. Bone-rattling ride, especially on unpaved or rural roads. With a solid front axle, steering was heavy and vague, and cornering was a guess at best. Not built for real hauling. Despite the power upgrade, the chassis wasn't beefed up much, meaning it felt overloaded easily. Payload wasn't much better than older four-cylinder trucks, and braking was still mechanical, not hydraulic, so stopping with a load could get sketchy. Outdated features. No synchronized transmission, double clutching required. Still had a wood bed floor, which could rot or warp under heavy use. Interiors were minimalist to the extreme, even compared to other Depression-era trucks. Fun facts: the 1935 Model 50 was Ford's first pickup to come standard with the flathead 5.8, making it a huge marketing hit at the time. It looked great, curvier styling than earlier boxy models, and it set the stage for V8 pickups to come. Hot rodders and restorers love the Model 50 today, but mostly for nostalgia and style, not utility. Number 1, 1936 DeSoto pickup. Export Dealer Custom. Not a real production model. DeSoto never officially produced a factory pickup in 1936 for the U.S. market. Most were coach-built conversions, often in Latin America, Australia, or dealer-level customs. That meant no parts consistency, no engineering oversight, and no dealer support. Based on DeSoto's passenger car chassis, these pickups had too much overhang, too soft a suspension, rear beds that didn't fit the lines of the cab. The result? A truck that looked a bit like a cartoon mashup, and didn't handle loads well at all, hard to service. Since they weren't standard builds, finding replacement parts was nearly impossible, even back then. Mechanics unfamiliar with the setup often had to improvise repairs, especially in rural areas or abroad. Chrysler offered zero tech support, and most DeSoto dealers didn't even know how to handle them. Not built to haul. The underpinnings were never designed for work use, meaning weak frames, soft springs, and overloaded axles if you tried to actually use it as a truck. Brake fade and poor handling when loaded were common complaints from the few who had them. Fun fact, despite its obscurity, the DeSoto pickup has become something of a collector's unicorn, precisely because of its rarity and weird history.